Binary. It sounds complex, but it's actually really simple. Bi means two, so binary is just when something can either be in one or another state. An example of this would be a light bulb, a lamp. It can either be off or on, there's no middle ground in between. Now imagine you had a friend who was standing far away. They can see your light bulbs and you're trying to communicate with them. Now with only one light bulb you can't really tell them much. Maybe if the light is on, that means that you're happy. And if the light is off, that means you're sad. So now your friend who is standing far away will know if you're happy or sad depending on if the light is on or off. But what if we want to tell them more information? Well, we could add another light bulb. Now with two light bulbs, you could use one of them for if you're happy or sad, like we said before, and then have the other one be for if you're hungry or if you're well fed. But what if both light bulbs are turned on at the same time? Or what if both of them are turned off? Then you could give the person even more information. Here's every combination of the two lamps, and we could add a unique emotion to every combination. So now with two light bulbs, we already have 4 different emotions. Now if we simply just add a third light bulb, we get twice as many emotions we can show. We have 4 emotions when the new light bulb is off, and we have another 4 when the new light bulb is on. And for every light bulb that we add, the amount of unique emotions we can show exponentially increases. This is where the 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64 sequence comes from. Let's head into the game and figure out how we can do this in Terraria. The most basic way to turn a switch into a binary counter is just by placing a bunch of faulty logic gates next to each other and hooking them up, where the wire that's connected to the faulty lamp is also connected to the lamp under. We can already tell that by pressing the switch we're cycling through every combination of outputs. But how would this be useful? Well, one of the use cases is that with just having 4 gates, we're squeezing as many combinations as we possibly can. If let's say you have a timer which you want to count down, then you want that timer to last for as long as possible. If we have a sequential timer, which is pretty much just a one-way shift register, I made a video about those earlier, then the timer is very short, but just by using a binary counter with the same amount of logic gates, it's gonna last for so much longer. This is not just useful for timers, but also ways to store memory or counters or shift registers. It being so efficient is the reason that all computers are made out of binary. How can we go from binary to sequential or sequential to binary? Well, going from binary to sequential is super easy. You just line up a row of AND gates and then you put lamps on top that correlate to the binary pattern. You can just copy the pattern that I made here. If we hook switches up along all of the lamps, then we already have the correct output. Now for the sequential to binary. I'm gonna start by making the binary to sequential so that we later can translate the sequential back. I then bring the rows down to an arbitrary length, making sure to alternate colors. I then add 3 logic gates for each wire, which represent the 3 outputs, and then I add wires on top of all of them. I now add lamps that are turned off on top of the logic gates in a binary pattern. All I have to do now is wire up the logic gates to the lamp, toggle the lamps off, and it should be working. As we can see, when we press the switches, it translates into sequential and then translates back into binary, which is why the lamps perfectly reflect what we press on the switches. Finally, here's a design for a super compact binary 2-way counter. One of the switches increase the binary value while the other decrease it by 1. While with normal shift registers, the most compact way to make them is horizontally. With binary counters, it's actually more compact to make them vertically. And when you've made something like this, it's quite easy to add a reset system as well, where you have a third switch, and by toggling the switch you reset the lamps back to default or nothing. This was used in mine and Dr. Russ's bad apple display for the timer or counter that counted the frames. If you're curious about reset systems, then I will probably make a future video about that. But for now you can join my Discord server and ask any logic related questions you have in there. There's a link in the description. That's the end of this video, thank you for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.